Hello. So I went back to the bookstore, walked around for an hour and a half, and ended up just grabbing the last book that I could see by Wilder there, called Nocturnal. While I was there, though, I took the time to actually order the book by Italo Calvino that I was looking for that they didn't have last time. So hopefully by the time I finish this book, we'll have the next book here and ready to go. And as has happened with the other books of this series, the part that I kind of really felt was again near the beginning of my reading. But I also felt this part too, because I just felt like I wanted to express this to people, that maybe this whole idea of judgment really can only be true if you know for sure what the future is going to be. Inequality can be redeeming. Every dog has their day, as they say. And are dogs supposed to be inside or outside? Well, I sort of felt like this passage right here kind of expresses those ideas of this judgment that everybody has, and that I've felt that I've personally been in battle over. And the funny thing is that no matter who you talk to, you can almost say you've been fighting, even if they're on the other side. It's almost like fighting is a spirit of humility, because it's a struggle. You don't have the answers. But the funny thing is that when you're fighting, and it seems to be mostly true, it comes across in a very bold manner. One that doesn't back down. It's almost like humbleness itself can have an edge. And in that way, I feel like two sides can sort of honestly meet over fighting, if there was ever anything good to be said about such a word. Just as the sun met the horizon, I came into this world with eyelids that looked like a bruise-colored sky. My skin knew the taste of salt before I could meet the ocean. But as my gentle screams filled the room to let you know that I could breathe, I learned what it felt like to be saved while drowning. I've always been told that I was born chasing sunsets, but sometimes I wonder if I'm really just trying to find a way to be in two places at once. You see, in here is a celebrated personage with such a passage that is mirroring different aspects of life and interpreting them in ways which could be both personal and could affect not only just their immediate surroundings, but the world at large. And I think it's sort of proof that we can all fight. We can all have that edge. Our own edge. And maybe that's what humbleness really is. If we are actually to say that there was a true humbleness and it wasn't so contradictory in nature as with how much people like to say the braggart, humble man is very funny, because it's like grabbing a sword's blade in your hand. The more you squeeze, the more it cuts all your fingers with ease, trying to prove how humble you are, just to please. But maybe humbleness is not necessarily accepting everything else. Maybe it should be reversed to look at you. Maybe humility is just being you, but then the case of humility is in ever searching for yourself so that you can be true and truly be humble. If all things must represent some sort of problem at hand. The other portion that stood out to me that I was talking about in the first place was, I hide behind closed blinds during daylight and bury my skin under blankets that know me better than I do. I hope someday the light will find a way through the cracks while I stand from the outside looking in so I can tell her, I love you and I always will. Self-love. And that part just made me feel like, is there something that touches everything, you know? Like, is there something in which nothing can hide from? Like, it's all encompassing? Like, what would that look like? What texture would it have? Is it just an idea? Is it a metaphor? Is it something that I can't express? If I can't say exactly what it is, can I get close to it? And the other day I was sort of thinking about that whole idea where they say nothing is new beneath the sun, right? But maybe the sun is actually really cold. It's like frozen earth. It's this thing that will always tell you that everything's done. No more. No sun. Is that just it, though? That's saying that everything is old under the sun? Is that the test of fire? What they say, going through the furnace? The saying itself is actually the sun. The sun's saying. It's like that sense of humility that I said. Maybe that's just the sun. And maybe that's what the sun always says. Nothing's new under the sun. So then what do we say to the sun if that's what the sun says? Is our reservation of feelings have to do with a sense of justice, a sense of right? Or is it more just a sense of nothing is everything? Morally and ethically, we could care less in concerns to something doing something, but the real line is that nothing is everything. Makes me think of the funny saying that I thought of the other day. And it was, if you are little enough, you will be one. And the funny thing about that saying is it's airy enough, right? It's almost mystical enough, whimsical enough, silly enough, being one, that it entertains the idea of being everything but individual at the same time. It's just a very subtle, like, tip of either way, you know what I mean? Like a clock ticking, stuck between 1 second and none. Of it actually being one or one. And so did we ever get close to the idea of something that could fill everything? Maybe there's a trick to it. Like if I could somehow throw my voice so it sounded like you could hear a conversation. And what does a conversation prove but representation, personification? And if I could throw my voice at this moment, I would say something like, maybe the sun is just belief. You know, that whole Orphan Annie thing, right? The sun will come out tomorrow. Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na. So how does that relate to this whole idea of there's nothing new under the sun? You know? And if I was here talking to someone, then maybe Austin always is one. One under the sun. What if the sun really is just belief? Then if I was to try and rope and tangle up even more past things done here, sun. Am I not bold if I really believe? Maybe the sun just believes too. Maybe it's just being bold. There is nothing new under the sun. If there ever was a trick to it, folks, I just pulled a dozen rabbits out of my hat, changed the color of my hair, and made you think that I have 20 different tattoos. All because I am one. But anyways, maybe you got to make sense of things yourself, you know what I mean? Like, you really just got to make sense of things yourself. And if there ever was a thing to judge you, just start talking about the future, man. You know what I mean? Like, what does all this matter anyways? In 5 years, robots are gonna run everything. AI is gonna do it all. So what does it really matter what you do? Maybe I've got it all figured out then, because guess what? Value of my life doesn't depend on whether or not other things can do things that I can't. I've been doing this for a long time. It's basically just me. So what is the difference gonna be when there's a billion robots? It's basically the same thing for me. So maybe if you really believe, nothing's new to you either.